hearing your voice, the hearing you have really fantastic accent when you speak. And I think there's probably a lot of assumptions that people will have, like that you probably were privileged, you probably got to live in the United States or something like that. An assumption is something that you think is true, although you have no definite proof. But it's a conscious choice to not promote native speakerism, which is this assumption that you know there is a sense of superiority based on where you're born. You probably know the verb to assume, but we also turn this into an action with the phrase make an assumption. We combine it with either the word that or about. He made the assumption that the movie was going to be boring. I shouldn't have made an assumption about her. Then when I say that there's a lot of assumptions that people will have. The word will isn't used with a sense of future like you're used to seeing. Will can be used to talk about someone's habits, especially if they're annoying. This is exactly how Anna used this word here. Sometimes, like people will say, oh, no, I definitely can hear her accent, like she's from Russia, although I'm not, I'm Ukraine, that you probably were privileged, you probably got to live in the United States or something like that. If you have a privilege or you're privileged in some way, you have an advantage over other people. It could be because of wealth or social position, among other things. If you're born in a family that has money, then you're already privileged because you're probably going to go to the best school, the best universities. So if you're born into privilege, then life might not be as difficult. Yeah, and then some people that are born into privilege might then feel entitled because of that privilege. And people, I think, are usually shocked to hear that you've never been to an English-speaking country. I'm not sure if this is changed right now. So to hear is a common collocation we say to mean that something we have heard is surprising. Check out this example from a clip where Andrew and I talk about Christmas traditions in the US and the UK. For me, that's just like so different than any tradition we have in the US. With like the humor stuff, we don't really have anything like that. It sounds like it could be a really fun thing to do before you're kind of like digging into your dinner. Digging, it means to start eating, often eagerly or excitedly. It is, and I'm so surprised I word. So to hear that this word is just more of a British thing, I thought that other cultures did it too. So I'm really surprised that you're so motivated that we take our Christmas very seriously. I'm not sure if this is changed now, but did you notice that here I didn't say? I'm not sure if this has changed. But I'm not sure if this is changed Now that the reason why it sounds different is because in my conversation with Anna, I was speaking naturally, connecting words, and specifically in this case, I reduced has to the point where it sounds almost like is. I'm not sure if this is changed now, but has and have and also had are reduced when they are used as auxiliary in the perfect tenses. In an example like he's gone now, has is even contracted with he. But because I can't make it contraction like this, I intuitively contracted it in a way that sounded like um I'm not sure. Now, isn't it frustrating when we natives don't speak like you better too? Well, in our Fluent with Friends course, we will help you to master native pronunciation and connected speech so that you can understand even the fastest speaking natives, and you will do it with the Thomas TV series Friends, which various academic studies have shown in the best series for learning English. What are you waiting for? You can try it for free right now with our 3-part master class. Just click up here and in the description below. I did hear that when we were younger, you got selected to study abroad in the USA, but that you couldn't go, unfortunately, just because you couldn't afford it at the time. If you can afford something, you have enough money to pay for it. So I think a lot of learners out there, something I hear a lot, is a lot of people come from places and backgrounds that they just don't have a lot of money. And so they say, I can't afford your course, or I can't, afford a teacher. How do you think that your English learning journey might have been different if you had been able to go? Well, I think that my life would be different right now if I went there, but no regrets actually. In my question, and Anna's answer here, we have some great examples of the conditional. The word might is speculative, meaning that it is used with uncertainty. So we will often see it used with a conditional. Which conditional do you think I used in this question? Might have been different if you had been able to get the third condition. We form it by following this formula. If plus past perfect, then good have plus past participle. For example, if she had studied harder, she would have passed the exam. In my club with Anna, I used it to ask about a situation that didn't happen and to imagine the result of the situation had been different. And if you had so right then during that moment when it was like a $30,000 Bitcoin, you could have made a killing because maybe you bought it for, I don't know, $100, and out of that you were able to get like 600 times more money. What's interesting is that Anna answered with a different conditional. Which one did she use? My life would be different right now if I went there. So this one is the second conditional. So she switched to the second conditional because she is imagining an impossible situation in the present. She can't change what happened in the past. We form the second conditional with if plus simple past, then good infinitive. If I won the lottery, I could travel around the world. If you could give a TED talk and create a video on your channel that every English learner in the world could see, what would the topic or your message be? My students always found the conditionals really confusing. If you feel the same, then I recommend you check out this lesson, where you can have fun learning all of the conditionals with TV series. How do you think that your English learning journey might be half different if you had been able to go? Well, I think that my life could be different right now if I went there, but no regrets actually. If you regret something that you did, you feel sorry and you wish that you didn't do it or that you did it differently. You can also say, I have no regrets or simply no regrets to talk about something you did in the past. I have no regrets about leaving my old job. In fact, it was the best decision I've ever made. I did regret about that for a very long time. I was like, damn, I lost it. I don't know, everything could have been different. Nike uses the language in a way that only advanced speakers do. One example of this is the use of the auxiliary did here. When we add duties or did in an affirmative sentence, we emphasize the main verb. So if someone doubts your love and asks you, do you love me? You say, I do love you. I used did with the intention to add emphasis earlier. I did hear that when you were younger. Damn, I lost this opportunity. Also, Anna used the word damn here to show she was initially upset about not being able to travel. Damn, I've left my keys in the office. Let's now take a look at how Anna pronounces the I don't know, everything could have been different. First, she says I don't know a bit faster, so it sounds like I don't. Unless we want to emphasize that we don't know something, this is how we say it on most of the time. The answer is could have been as could have been. Could have been. Could have been. I've never had any like friends, like American friends to be able to talk to on a regular basis, so that wasn't the case at all. On a regular basis is another way to simply say regularly. When you do something on a regular basis, you do it every day or every week or even every month. You do it regularly, not intermittently. When we say something in the case, we mean the situation is as described or that it is true. I could say often without a T, but if I want to like emphasize something, I would say often. So create a more dramatic effect, but often is what I would say. That's often the case with words where we remove a sound, right? Is that the word? If we want to emphasize it, we'll like add it back